Following the success of Witch from Mercury from 3 years ago, the latest Gundam entry had a ton of hype to live up to. I stepped into 2025's addition to the franchise, GQuuuuuuX, with high expectations, but walked away more confused than anything else. Like, what is a Zeknova? What are Minovsky particles? And who the hell is this guy? But even if I didn't understand half the story of GQuuuuuuX, I could always follow along with the characters' moods and the nature of their relationship. And this is in large part thanks to its incredible color grading. When you watch a scene, do you ever feel that certain colors really stand out or others seem very muted? Do you sense there's something intense about these two characters looking at one another? Or that there's a muted ambience in this scene? That's the magic of color grading, a post-production technique in which the colors of a scene are altered to affect mood and tone. If a scene is intensely red, it indicates an overwhelming sense of danger. If a scene is drained of vibrancy, it suggests a lack of excitement. Different colors evoke different emotional cues in your audience. So while I initially came for the cool space robot fights and outstanding character designs, I was ultimately enraptured by its sublime utilization of colors. Let's step through the colors of the rainbow to see how GQuuuuuuX visually sets the stage before anyone even says a word. Red has an especially symbolic meaning in GQuuuuuuX. After all, the entire season is based off of the impact from the Red Gundam. But now is a good chance to clarify that when I talk about color grading, I am referring to color as a property of the composition, not as a symbol or a motif of the story. So while the Red Gundam is an important symbol, the presence of red in the characters and objects is an aspect of color grading and balance. With that out of the way, red is clearly a sign of danger. From stop signs to emergency buttons, red acts as a warning. When our two protagonists, Machu and Yan, first meet, they venture into the hideouts of Kanban Company Limited. Yan is visibly uneasy, and the flashing light at the entrance reinforces those concerns. Red also takes over in climactic moments to demonstrate intense action, such as whenever the Red Gundam and Yan unleash the destructive Zeknova. And while red normally is all about action, it can also be an indicator for romance or sexuality, as seen when Machu spends time inside a brothel on Earth. It's the ideal color to get your heart racing in a variety of ways, and GQuuuuuuX knows exactly how to raise your heartbeat. Orange is a tough color to place because it could easily be mistaken for red or yellow in certain settings. While it's generally considered a warm and cozy color, there are some more sinister connotations. Think Halloween. Episode 8 features both sides of the orange. Here, Nyan shares a meal with Kycilia, a commander of the Zeon military. It's a moment where the two begin to build an almost familial relationship, with Kycilia offering Nyan an escape from her difficult life as a refugee. All she required was for Nyan to do one job for her. Within this conversation, everything glows orange, from the light of the fireplace and candles, to Kycilia's hair, and even the pie they're eating. It all synergizes to create a blanket of affection that swaddles Nyan until she can't help but give in. But orange isn't just a homey color. In the same episode, Nyan barely avoids an assassination attempt by an enemy spy named Miguel. She kills Miguel while piloting her Gundam, inadvertently setting their surroundings ablaze. Before his death, Miguel proclaims he was stopping Nyan from becoming a Diablo, or the Spanish word for devil, and as the fires bathe both the Gundam and Nyan in an eerie orange, it's hard to deny Miguel's accusation. Even Kycilia later appears under a yellow-orange lamp as she executes another spy, reaffirming her manipulation of Nyan. That earlier dinner, once a proposed safe haven for Nyan, now feels like a deal with the devil. Now, yellow is a color that doesn't have nearly as many recognizable attributes as red does, but it features prominently during the 4th episode of GQuuuuuuX. Machu comes across Shiko, a former ace pilot who has returned for a chance at revenge. Despite starting a family and claiming her son is her joy, Shiko simply cannot forgive the Red Gundam, the mecha that killed her partner. The surrounding scenery is heavily washed in yellows, a color choice that expresses her obsession. Yellow is a color that sticks inside your head, paralleling Shiko's compulsion. She boldly claims that she can have it all, her revenge and her family. Everyone calls her crazy for even trying, and the yellow palette accentuates this alarming attitude. Yellow pops up as a color of caution. Road signs are often yellow, and so are the stripes of bees. And now Machu knows too. This woman is crazy and dangerous. Machu begins to sense this when Shiko makes clear that she's aware of Machu's relationship to the pilot of the Red Gundam. Ultimately, the yellow tint imbues this scene with unease and discomfort. Here we also see yellow used to tie two scenes together. Earlier in the episode, Machu's mom chastises her for not taking her career survey seriously. Machu, in a bedroom lit solely by yellow fairy lights, complains that her mom is too conventional. Ever since she encountered the Gundam, Machu has broken free from the tedium of mundanity and now chases dreams like escaping to Earth. But after meeting this famous ace pilot, Machu realizes that Shiko, this mother who was willing to sacrifice it all to pursue her whims, is nothing like her own. The shared color scheme highlights how these two mothers sit on the opposite sides of the spectrum, and in the end, the yellow lit warning signs become clear as Machu sees just how dangerous it is to tread this road. You've probably heard the phrase green with envy. That's what immediately comes to mind when I think about the relationship between Machu and Nyan. Machu yearns for the excitement of Nyan's scrappy lifestyle. Nyan desperately wants the stability and familial relationship Machu enjoys. Their first conversation is on a rooftop illuminated by the green glow of surrounding skyscrapers. Despite Nyan handling illegal contraband and potentially abetting terrorism, Machu can't help but express interest in Nyan's atypical way of life. While Nyan isn't too keen on bringing her along, it's clear that Machu wants to get involved. It fits nicely with another association of green, rebirth. This is the turning point for Machu's story. Machu has come to love this life of scrapping in mecha battles and sneaking around authority figures. But Nyan's circumstances aren't as glamorous as Machu may believe. When we follow Nyan back home, it's evident just how hard she has it. Her apartment is tiny, her bathtub is too small, her walls are lined with forms, calendars, and job applications. It's not at all enviable, and this point is emphasized by a desaturated green palette that permeates everything in Nyan's life. In fact, it seems like every wall in her neighborhood and every knickknack in her apartment is coated green. It's an absolutely soul-sucking palette, and as Nyan looks outward towards the city from her very green window, the viewer easily understands why she forlornly wishes to share a meal with Machu. Now, these are instances of Machu and Nyan envying each other's lifestyles, but there's also a typical jealousy presented with the green flare. In their second rooftop encounter, Machu isn't quite as bubbly. The two confront each other regarding their budding attraction towards a boy named Shuji. They've suddenly been competing for his attention, and it comes to a head when they finally challenge each other to admit their feelings. The two move on to concoct a mutual plan to protect Shuji, but the colors here make it quite clear that their discussion over a mutual crush is not so friendly. When characters get the blues, GQuuuuuX ensures you know by painting the scene appropriately. Blue, unsurprisingly, is utilized to create a somber atmosphere. When Machu discovers someone else is piloting her Gundam, she runs into the rain crying out over the betrayal. When Nyan runs away from her promise with Machu and abandons their plans, the cold blue lights of the city backlight her as if to shun her. And when Machu is later imprisoned for said plans, the view from the outside of the prison cell are tinted in a desaturated blue. The cooler temperature tempers the emotional highs and introduces an icier, bitter emotion to these scenes. I'm skipping indigo, it's just blue. Purple has a couple recognizable associations, such as sexuality, royalty, and mysticism. But the few instances of purple seen are too far and few between for these grandiose connections. Instead, GQuuuuuuX uses purple as a subtle expression of mystery and secrecy. In episode 1, purple is the chosen tone for when Nyan reclaims a stolen package from Machu. The hue emphasizes how little we know about Nyan's intentions, adding an extra layer of intrigue to her actions. Later scenes featuring the mysterious Lala are also tinged purple, inviting the viewer's curiosity and speculation. And when Machu ponders the grander plans of Chalia, the room shifts from a dull blue to a soft purple. This color generates questions and teases the audience who want to see past the veil. Most notably, purple becomes a narrative indicator for trust in Chalia room. A lone desk lamp illuminates the space as various characters pass through for private conversations. However, the lamp emits two colors depending on his company, a desaturated orange and a desaturated purple. When Chalia speaks with his colleague, Kumoli, the lamp is purple. She probes Chalia for answers about his motivations, but Chalia stonewalls her and his body language also reflects this behavior. He's a closed book and both Kumoli and the audience are suspicious. But when he's speaking with co-conspirators or even with Machu, the lamp changes to that lighter orange. Under this color, he's more open about his plans, turning his body away from the desk and even giving away military secrets to a supposed prisoner. Purple allows the director to covertly clue the audience in on who Chalia trusts. GQuuuuuuX explores the full rainbow and crafts memorable visuals through its expression of colors. But more importantly, GQuuuuuuX enhances the mood of any dramatic encounter through its intelligent color usage. While watching GQuuuuuuX, I was constantly intrigued by how in-your-face some of these color choices were. And it was an apt decision because amidst all the Gundam jargon, the color grading is what guided me through the emotions and dynamics between characters. It's an exceptionally useful tool to help audiences understand the nuances of the dialogue and shepherd them through the more subtle story beats. So whenever you see a weird yellow or an intense green, I hope you'll take a moment to reflect on the meaning of that kira kira